There have been a lot of jumpings in JJK, but this one is the best one so far. Dagon versus Maki, Naobito, and Nanami, which was special guests at the end. I call it the best boss fight in anime because there are 3 phases to this fight, like a damn Soulsborne boss. The first phase where Dagon is weakened, the second phase where his cursed wound phase is revealed, and his third phase where we're trapped in the domain and pretty much everyone is fucked. The start of this fight was a special case because Dagon came off really innocent. Now granted, we know this thing is still a special grade, but he was hiding like he was a baby cursed spirit or something. But it ain't so innocent, as Dagon is the reason those people got gobbled up in the station and eaten by Dagon down to the bone. Now the 3v1 is announced, but doesn't happen immediately because Naobito literally speed blitz all of them to get to Dagon and rocks him. Projecting Sorcerer was one of those abilities where on first read it looked cool, but I still didn't grasp what all he was doing and why it was such a hard counter to Dagon other than just speed. But later in the series we see it even more, and I really got a lot of love for this technique. Quick explanation for it: he's mapping out a set motion, kind of like a flip book or an animation, all in the process of 24 frames per second, which in real time is about a 1 second. If either of the target or Naobito break the set motion, they will freeze for about 1 second. To realize how broken this is, Naobito is the only one that will know what that motion is. I'm very interested to see how Mappa will animate this, as I feel like they can get really innovative in the execution. Now after Dagon and Naobito yell at each other, which was kind of fucked up because Dagon, he's pouring his heart out for Hanami and telling the sorcerers we have names and going off, while Naobito was over here literally just talking about 4K TVs, frames per second, and whatever else he wanted to talk about. And the true beast at this moment revealed himself. This is Dagon. In his true form, Dagon's water attacks can now fill up the entire subway portion that they're in, making Max Elephant's water dousing look like a little sprinkler. Even Maki says if they were completely underground, they would have all drowned by now. Nanami and Maki, they do get some good hits in while Dagon is distracted with Naobito and Nanami do some projecting sorcery tag team, which is pretty cool. 2 grade 1 sorcerers, and Dagon is still up and fine, though it's not stated to be because of durability, but Nanami describes it as boundless HP, which is kind of hard to not say it's durability because what else could it possibly be? I feel like resiliency would be something a little bit more akin to Dagon, but this combined with Dagon's massive amount of curse energy is literally like a video game boss. Although pretty fitting for a sea creature, as being deep in the ocean, it feels like there's no destination in sight. Now while the grade 1s are landing some pretty big hits, Maki on the other hand in this fight was definitely humble, but in a good way, where it wasn't that she was OP, but more so that she still has levels to reach compared to these two. Even though she does not like Naobito, she does acknowledge the strength that he brings. You can see during this fight that she took a realistic approach in picking her spots, finding openings where she can get a solid hit in, instead of going in full force. Yet she's still learning small things to add to her arsenal that she will use or learn to go against in the future. Now this stretch of panels where Naobito is just beating Dagon's ass is ridiculous. It's just pure speed, overwhelming him so much he can't cast techniques. But once Naobito got a little too deep into the zone, Dagon had to let OG know there's levels to this. Domain expansion, a cursed seal Dagon drew on his stomach, the same sign for his domain. A high IQ play if you ask me. And now we enter the beach that will soon have blood stained on its sands. Horizon of the Captivating Skanda. This domain is a beach with a short hit effect of fish or sea creature, Shikigami's that lock onto the target and rip and eat them to shreds. This is called the Death Swarm. This domain is very simple, and the first time we actually saw it was when Kenjaku entered that apartment building and walked into Dagon's beach domain to talk to the disaster curses, a more peaceful environment for the curses to hang out. But in the domain's true nature, Dagon's domain is a nightmare to sorcerers, and the effect of Dagon having an immense amount of cursed energy is displayed with his power output, focusing 70% of his power towards Naobito and 30% towards Maki and Nanami. The only reason Naobito did a little better than Maki and Nanami at avoiding the short hit was because of Falling Blossom of Motion, similar to a simple domain, but instead of expanding the domain and helping neutralize the short hit, making it less effective with the bonus of protecting others within your range. Meanwhile, Falling Blossom only protects yourself, as the short hit effectively counters the short hit entirely. although both forms of these simple domains prevent you from dealing any offensive damage. Nanami really got messed up as he lost an eye in this fight and is severely bleeding. Maki didn't suffer too much damage as the staff she's using keeps them away, but she took most of her damage from Dagon's strikes, more so than anything. And Naobito, ooh boy, he got probably fucked up the most considering he was Dagon's primary target. Launching endless Shikigami at him and hitting him with stiff shots, punches, kicks, he was definitely focusing all his power on him. And Dagon's power in his bag was all about overwhelming the opponent, attacking when they least anticipated it. A domain so powerful, he can effectively kill 2 Grade 1s and a future Grade 1 who is also an incomplete heavily restriction user in Maki with ease. I think during this stretch, I really was enjoying Dagon's fight as he was honestly starting to feel even more like a Cthulhu mythical creature, more so than anything we've seen so far. And funny enough, Dagon still to this day put on a better showing than Hanami and Jogo. Although that also kind of goes into effect of who they were fighting. But where this takes a shift is Megumi Fushiguro entering by opening his domain expansion and creating an exit way for them. And even the small part, like Megumi delivering Maki the playful cloud via an extending shadow, you could tell anytime Gege can use Megumi's 10 shadows in a various way, he'll do it. Playing a domain tug of war with an incomplete domain says a lot. And Maki with Playful Cloud is practically a buff considering the weapon itself only relies on that person's strength, as she took a nice little chunk off Dagon's arm, although he can heal that right away with no problem. With a nice callback to the Playful Cloud attack on Hanami, she sent Dagon flying the same way back into the sea. I didn't notice it until rereading, but Nanami jumping on the toes to reach the Shikigami to stop it was a nice touch into how he was able to reach Fushiguro, who near the latter part of this fight, Nanami was definitely giving me some Captain America vibes, as while Naobito and Maki were trying to fight Dagon straight up, while they are going off pure instinct and survival, they stand no real chance against them. Nanami's main priority was protecting Megumi at this point, as Megumi is more like a counterattack shielding off the intensity of Dagon's domain expansion. But once Megumi came up with the idea of expanding the barrier of his Chimera Shadow Garden towards the edge of Dagon's domain to create an opening wide enough to escape, and because Dagon can't use his domain more than once, Nanami immediately told Maki and Naobito to assemble and do the digital dash and get up out of there. Also, W development from Megumi, he let him know, don't worry, I'm not gonna off myself this time. I'm not gonna throw away my life. Putting their trust in Nanami and making a break for it. Not gonna lie though, Dagon's reaction to them escaping was pretty fucking funny. Until an anomaly changed fate yet again.
Who inherited the curse of the Zenin family. The one who couldn't fully leave behind that curse. They would all bear witness to the bare flesh of the one who is free, to the one who left it all behind and his overwhelming intensity.
One thing I love about this entrance, first of all, is already iconic and hasn't even hit the screens yet, but the reaction from everybody is shock and confusion. And of course, it's a parallel to Gojo in his Honored One scene. We all know this, but it still hits every time reading. Nanami, Megumi, and Maki are like, who the hell is this guy? And why does he feel different? Except Naobito knows exactly who this is. Maki asks Naobito who is that after he said his name, and he simply called him a ghost. A ghost to the Zenin family who at any time could have brought them down. Due to seance, Toji's body overlapped and overwhelmed that father's body, but kept his soul information and pretty much is able to hold on to the body until it breaks. With Toji snatching the hell out of the Playful Cloud from Maki, who was shocked by his physical strength being greater than hers, and he didn't have any cursed energy, and she was able to sense that. More Maki Toji parallels in power, and ever since this panel, it's been going insane with those parallels. Now, the Puppet of Carnage is on the hunt for the strongest, and Toji went to work. This man was going off on the Shikigami and Dagon. I mean, he's ripping through the fish in one motion, and in the same momentum, he's knocking Dagon around. You can tell when a mangaka likes drawing certain characters. For example, Blue Lock, you can tell the connoisseur likes drawing Borrow. By the way, I hate the ending to that game. And in this instance, Toji, you can clearly tell in these panels, Gege loves drawing him. as he was looking extra savage during the slaughter. Mappa will probably do some intense Sakugo right in this moment right here. Even the more defense-oriented Shikigami, he destroys them with ease, and he stops and starts to sharpen up the ends of the playful cloud, getting deep into that bag that nobody knew about. Apparently the sound is very loud because Nanami and Maki are covering their ears during this. The cloud has now turned into pretty much sharp javelins. Still hoping we can see this again, but with Maki this time. This nigga Toji had everyone sweating and shitting bricks. Dagon went from dominating to, damn, I'm gonna need to buy some time because he is whooping my ass. Except Naobito had a nice assist with an anti-air projection sorcery kick. Toji proceeds to then catch Dagon mid-air by connecting the playful cloud and pole vaults up to Dagon, locks him in a vice grip, and then stabs the hell out of Dagon in the head repeatedly. This is just pure aggression. You can feel the power behind each stab, eventually exercising and ending the monster known as Dagon. This battle does a lot. It signaled the end for characters like Nanami, Naobito, and the Disaster Curses, as Jogo is now at this point the final one standing amongst his friends. Nanami survived just enough to have his final moments with Yuji. Naobito was off by Jogo, ending the hierarchy of the Zenin clan, and Toji's last stand in the living with his son Megumi, with his finally having his moment with him. But also some new beginnings for Maki, who has now noticed the power that is with the heavenly restriction. Even though she doesn't know that Toji has it, she now has an idea of what to do. And of course later in the manga we know exactly what she has become. And for Megumi, he is now at this point the head of the Zenin clan. He's going to be the future of the Jujutsu, at least one of the futures of the Jujutsu. With the 10 shadows, he now knows what he can possibly do with all that he's learned. He's the son of Toji, the student of Gojo, and a sorcerer even Sukuna has to acknowledge when it comes to his potential. This is for me one of the best fights in this series. It's easily top 10. I want to say it's top 5 or 6. Let me know in the comment section down below how much you like this fight, and by the time the anime comes out, did you enjoy the adaptation for it? I'll holla at y'all in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace.
How I got my choice to this back in the street.